So, what if I told you the story of Pinocchio, isn't the whole story? What if it was never about a puppet who got punished for lying? What if it was really about a hero who had to earn his humanity? Well, today we're diving into a version of the tale where that famous growing nose is just a myth and the real magic is all about courage. I mean, it's the most famous lie detector in all fiction, right? But what if it never actually happened? This version of the story just tosses that iconic image right out the window. It asks us to forget about punishing lies, and instead to really think about a much, much bigger question. What does it actually take to be human?
Okay, so this slide breaks it down perfectly. On one hand, you have the myth we all grew up with, the puppet, who's basically trapped by his own fibs. But on the other hand, you've got the hero we're following today. And his story isn't about the price of telling a lie, it's about the tough, courageous, and incredible journey to earning what it means to be truly human.
All right, let's set the scene. Our story kicks off with someone we all know, the lonely old woodcarver, Geppetto. But here, he's not totally alone. He's got this witty, super loyal sidekick, a talking horse named Tybalt. And it's the two of them who carve our hero, Pinocchio, hoping to bring a little life into their quiet workshop.
And right from the get-go, the magic feels different. There's no wishing on a star here. Instead, Pinocchio is brought to life by a fairy named Lucilla. And it's not just some random act of magic, it's a very specific thank you gift for Geppetto, who used his carving skills to fix her broken wand.
And this is what's driving our hero. It's his big call to adventure. He's not just a block of wood, he is filled with this incredible curiosity to see what's out there. But his loving dad, Geppetto, is terrified of the dangers of the world and absolutely forbids him from leaving.
So Pinocchio doesn't just run away. His big adventure is kicked off by a moment of pure heroism. He sees a girl, Bella, trapped in a runaway carriage that's heading straight for a cliff. Without even thinking, he jumps into action and saves her life, a choice that just catapults him into a whole new world.
And that single act of bravery lands him smack in the middle of a traveling circus. This is where he meets the charismatic but kind of shady ringleader, Mangiafuoco, his daughter and star of the show, Bella, and this bumbling duo of crooks, the cat and the fox. Of course, his loyal horse Tybalt is right there with him and, seeing a huge opportunity, immediately declares himself Pinocchio's talent agent.
Now Mangiafuoco sees a living, talking puppet, and his eyes light up like a cash register. He showers Pinocchio with these grand promises of fame, fortune, and the worldwide adventure he's been dreaming of. Pinocchio is completely convinced this is his destiny, so he joins the circus, leaving a heartbroken Geppetto behind.
But, as you can probably guess, life in the circus isn't quite the dream he imagined. The glitz and the glamour start to fade really fast when Pinocchio starts to develop feelings for Bella. He might be a star, sure, but he's about to run headfirst into a very painful reality.
And then, bam, the sneaky fox just drops this cruel dose of reality on him. This is Pinocchio's first big test. He's reminded that no matter how human he might feel on the inside, on the outside he's still made of wood, and that means he can never really be with Bella. It's the moment his heart just breaks.
That heartbreak? It changes everything. The dream of fame and fortune just vanishes, and it's replaced by this deeper, much more desperate quest. The quest to become human. He realizes now that to be with the person he loves, he has to be real. And that means finding the one being who might actually be able to help him, the fairy, Lucilla.
Okay, so while Pinocchio is on this deeply personal mission, there's a whole other story playing out in the background. A really determined police detective is hunting a gang of thieves who've been using the circus as a distraction to rob people's homes.
Detective Brioni is absolutely convinced that the mastermind behind it all is the circus's main attraction. The star who gets all the attention and creates the perfect cover for the crimes. He thinks he's chasing a real criminal genius.
So who is this supposed genius with wooden hands pulling all the strings? Well, in a pretty fantastic twist, Detective Brioni's #1 suspect is Pinocchio himself. Yep, our hero is now public enemy #1.
Things really come to a head when Pinocchio finally discovers the truth. The real criminal isn't him. It's the circus owner, Mangiafuoco. And this discovery puts Pinocchio in a totally impossible spot, with the lives of the people he loves hanging in the balance.
To make sure Pinocchio keeps quiet and does what he's told, Mangiafuoco kidnaps Geppetto.
He blackmails Pinocchio, perform in one last show as a distraction for a final big heist, or his father will pay the price. But Pinocchio, with some help from Tybalt and a very remorseful Bella, he has a plan of his own. The whole climax is this incredible chain reaction. Pinocchio gets on stage, but instead of doing tricks, he sings a song that exposes the entire criminal operation to the whole audience and the police waiting outside. In the chaos, Mangiafuoco grabs Bella as a hostage, and Pinocchio, without a second thought, makes the ultimate sacrifice, throwing his wooden body in front of her to save her life.
But this isn't the end. That final, selfless act, it has a profound and magical consequence. Pinocchio's sacrifice is the actual key that unlocks the one thing he's been searching for this whole time.
And right at that moment, the fairy Lucilla appears and reveals the true secret to her magic. See, it's not about being made of flesh and blood. It's about your actions. Actions driven by love, by courage, by sacrifice. Like she says, if someone wants to become human, they must first become human in their heart.
He proved, beyond any doubt, that he had a human heart. And just like that, Pinocchio awakens. The wood is gone. He is, finally, a real boy. Not because a fairy gave him a gift, but because he earned it himself.
With the villains arrested, all the other pieces just fall into place in this amazing way. A family crest on an old handkerchief reveals an incredible truth. Bella is actually the long-lost daughter of Detective Brioni. So in the end, Geppetto, Pinocchio, Bella, and Tybalt form this new, unlikely family. And together they start a new, honest circus, turning a place of lies into a place of real joy.
So this true story of Pinocchio really leaves us with one big question to chew on. It suggests that being real has nothing to do with what we're made of, but everything to do with the choices we make, the love we give, and the courage we show. Humanity isn't something you're just born with. It's something you prove.